Hello y'all, this is the Medieval 2 Total War mod Europe Ancient. It's basically Rome Total War remade in M2TW. All factions from Rome Total War are present, all units minus the dogs and chariots are remade. I think dogs and chariots have been cut entirely. I mean, to be fair, it's not like they were in Medieval 2 Total War to begin with. Also, Egypt is no longer a Bronze Age state, instead it is a Greek Diadochi state with Egyptian flavor. And let's go over all the factions now. We have the Germans, which is it is Germania, Dacia. We have House Julii, House Brutii, House Scipii. These are Roman factions. There is the Republic of Carthage, or just simply Carthage, Numidia, Iberia, the Greek cities, Macedon, Thrace, Pontus, Armenia, the Seleucid Empire, Parthia, Persia. Persia in this mod is here because the developer of Europe Ancient wanted them to be here, and they're based off of their Rome Total War Alexander version. Then after that we have Egypt, the Gauls, and the Britons, I believe, yes. Then above them, finally, we have Scythia and the rebels. Let's look at the map now, shall we? Yes, so we have the models are definitely different. They resemble Rome Total War for sure, such as the diplomats, the spies, and I think this mod doesn't really change up the map too much. I believe it's set it in, but it will change. It did change some of the provincial plans. So we have Etruria down here, for example, and I don't think that's in vanilla Medieval 2 Total War. And what else can we look at here? I think the temple system, which is in vanilla, and I mean in Rome Total War, it's not really implemented here. It's a work in progress because you can only build one type of temple, as the Romans, for example, instead of having more than one option. At least that's the situation as the House of the Julii. And let's now see all the cultures. Well, the cultures in the world are the Roman culture, the Greek culture, the Eastern culture, the barbaric culture, and the wild culture. So at this point, let's go over the entire world map. So we have the Britons on Britannia, and there's some places controlled by the barbarian rebels. Here are the Gauls in Gaul, modern-day France. We have the Iberians in Iberia. There is some Carthaginian presence here. There's Numidia in North Africa. We have Carthage here, obviously, as well. There's the Greek cities in Cyrene, in, like, say, Tripolitania. Usually that's what do you call this area? I don't know if they're in this part of the world in vanilla, in Rome Total War. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they're not. Do they have Syracuse? Yes, they do. I think they do. So going on, we have some rebel towns here controlled by the Greek rebels. And Athens is controlled by some Greek rebels. I think in Rome Total War that starts off controlled by the Greeks, but I could be wrong. We have Thermon. There is Sparta. Apollonia is over there. We have Macedon now. There's Dacia. We do have Germania in modern-day Germany. There's the Scythians. We have the Thracians. Then going over to Asia Minor, there is the Egyptians here. And for some reason, they had their capital in Halicarnassus. I'm not complaining, but it is interesting to see that. And it looks like there are wonders in Europe Ancient, which is fascinating for sure, since it's not a system in Medieval 2 Total War. It's had to be added in. There's Pontus, at least I think it is in the system, really. There's Pontus. We have the Seleucid Empire. Here's Egypt. We have Persia just tucked away here, and Babylon doing their thing. And I think in vanilla, well, in Rome Total War, this is controlled initially by the Seleucids, maybe, possibly. And here is Parthia. There's Armenia. We have Scythia over here. And here is another place belonging to Parthia. I want to show what this mod is like on the battlefield now in a couple different battles. We're just going to see different snippets of both. So here we have the, there's catapults overhead or onagers. We have the Ptolemaic Egyptians versus the Seleucids, who were historically in the emergence of, well, they appeared after the breakup of Alexander's empire, and they were rivals. So we're trying to see how the phalanx works here. For example, They really use, I think, the spear wall system in Medieval 2 Total War, so I'm not sure. They're not as effective as they would be in vanilla Rome Total War in that game, I would say, just due to how that works in Medieval 2 Total War. And we can see the changed up roster of Egypt. They're a lot more, I don't know, more pike oriented. We have our desert axemen here. You can definitely tell they have Egyptian influence though. And we have our elite troops rushing forward to fight in a melee somewhat and just do some damage, guys. Push them on through. We have our phalanx pikemen pushing into their phalanx pikemen. There are casualties on both sides. They're kind of just running into each other in a way. Move our bodyguard around. And there is some elephants there. I can see that. Oh, they're silver shield legionnaires. How do they look? They look interesting, let's just say that. And I got ran into by my bodyguard cavalry that just kind of around doing whatever. We lost some bodyguards so bad to the onagers. And here is the Pharaoh's bowmen in this mod, which are regarded as Egypt's one of their best units in Rome Total War. And we had some of our camel archers break already, and that is honestly unfortunate. How is the brawl going? It is definitely a brawl, we'll just say that. We have our elite Ptolemaic pikemen trying to push forward. Some units are wanting to break. The Seleucids broke first, run them down, send in these bodyguards here, and go destroy that onager, please. And yeah, this looks like a victory for us. And now we can see how the elephants look in this mod. They look pretty good, honestly. And the Egyptian forces in this battle are just surging forward without a doubt, even though they are taking some casualties. But this is just what I suppose a phalanx against phalanx matchup looks like in this mod. And you can see the swords coming out here between the Egyptians and the Seleucids. Their phalanx is just kind of existing. Their silver shield pikemen are here. Let's just say that they exist. The second battle I will use to show off this mod is this one between the House of Julii, basically Romans, but they're red, and the Gauls, who are right over here in front of the House of Julii. And House of Julii, in this little engagement here, they have onagers and great ballistas, so quite a bit of artillery. The Gauls have no artillery, so we'll just let them advance. However, I think they do have Skirmisher Warband and Forester Warband. Forester Warband are very good archers, so they're going to be quite annoying. Should we just charge out here? I don't know. Just keep using this long-range attack, maybe. I don't know. Run out them with the cavalry. Just run them down with the cavalry with the bodyguards we have with us. Hopefully, our artillery doesn't hit our own guys. Have them use the standard type of ammunition, please, since I am concerned a little bit that they may unintentionally end up committing some kind of friendly fire. Run down the Forester Warband. Do everything we can here just to drive back the Gaulish forces here and take the initiative on the front lines. So yeah, they're going to take some casualties right away. As our forces charged forward, have our cavalry now move back because the point isn't to engage them in protracted warfare. So switch back to using those flame projectiles, and here come the Gauls. They were just provoked into charging. We have our auxiliary ready, those spearmen and everything else hidden in some tall grass. There's a lot of cavalry approaching forward. I think some units just got hit by great ballistas or onagers. Good. Oh no, they're going to now charge into my the barbarian noble cavalry has run into my units. They're going to try to do that anyway. Move forward. Just charge into them. They may they ran into some things they weren't expecting to run into, weren't they? Let's see those Pila throws in action. Maybe we saw... Okay, there we go, yeah. They're throwing them now. And we have some units going up against their cavalry. Oh boy. Charge in. They already have some cavalry that's broken already. That's terrible. What kind of morale is that? That is disappointing, Gauls. Come on. And we have our auxiliary spearmen fighting their barbarian chosen warlord. I don't know why you'd want to run very heavy cavalry like this into light infantry spearmen, but the Gauls have chosen to do that, and we're taking some casualties here, quite a bit in the Gauls. They're either trying to trick us, or they really just had their army break so hard now. Move this cavalry unit forward. These two units here will go into those barbarian peasants. Did they lose all their cav? Let me see here. Use that. Don't hit my own guys. Oh, they hit some enemy units. Good. Turn off that ranged attack, though. Use standard ammunition once more. All you gotta do. What happened with these guys? Did they? Oh, they gotta reposition. Okay. Bring in these Velites, who I think were trying to retreat, and their general fell, so it's fine. They're broken. And this battle just really did not go well for the Gauls at all. Chased down the Forester warband, though. Used this bodyguard for their original purpose, which was to harass the ranged units of the Gauls. So run them down now. This is just embarrassing, really. Like, this is terrible for the Gauls. This is just awful. They're taking so many casualties. And there's some druids that are just kind of swept up in the charge by our bodyguard. And you can see the carnage unfolding on what was the ranged vanguard of the Gallic forces here. The Forester warband. Elite forces, but they are wavering. This is not going well for them at all. They are trying to get some casualties in, though. They're dealing some damage, but the bulk of their forces are choosing to retreat. And who can blame them? They're definitely shattered. And this is clearly, with the sheer amount of casualties taken, 57 of the enemy forces have been killed, 22% of the House of Julii forces have been killed, but the House of Julii's commander is still alive, and it is just brutal. Just brutal. And I think with that, I'm going to end this video here. This has been Europe Ancient. You can check out the mod in the video description. The link to it is there. What do you think of this mod? Tell me in the comments section below. And after you do that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.